What's up and good morning, guys. Welcome back to another video. This is video 2 of the Rhino Ranch pool project. And yes, the fence project's still on hold. Papa Rhino went through the other day and put all the rest of the top rails in, so really we can come slam in the last little bit of fencing pretty quickly. Other than this section that I'm walking through right now, which is gonna be the main entrance to, I guess, my house. We still have to figure out exactly what we're gonna do here, but I think just in the terms of getting it done, we're just gonna end up putting fencing through here to about here. There'll be, and then there'll be a gate somewhere along this line that lets you into the house. My original plan was maybe do some block walls, a nice beautiful sliding gate. However, the plan is eventually to do a bunch of concrete in here. Well, if you guys have seen concrete prices, they are through the freaking roof, and they're even more expensive when you live remotely like I do, because they tack on all kinds of fees for having to come out here. So I don't want to put in a nice big beautiful sliding gate without knowing exactly the height that it's going to need to be at, because once we pour the concrete, that's going to be the final determination. I don't want to guess right now and think that the height's going to be right here. We put all the money and time in to put the track, the motors and everything at a certain height, and then later we got to rip it all out when we go to put concrete in because we were wrong. So we'll probably end up just putting like an okay temporary system right here. It's not what I wanted, but is what it is. However, being that it's fire season, this is why we are prioritizing the pool project right now. And if you guys did not watch the first video, the reason we're putting in a pool, well, number one, we want a pool and it's very hot out here. But number two is it gives me 15,000 gallons of water storage. Water tanks are very expensive. They're about $1 per gallon. You want a 10,000 gallon water tank, you're gonna be spending $10,000. And then it's just water sitting in a tank that you don't actually get to enjoy and use. 15,000 gallon pool that we're putting in is going to not only be something that we can use and enjoy and, you know, splash around in, but if there is a fire, we can take our trash pump, throw the suction tube into the pool, and we have 15,000 gallons of water ready to defend the house. So it kind of actually is a necessity. I know I'm like justifying it in my head. And that being said, it is not the ideal pool that we want to build. Eventually there'll be some crazy cool badass pool at the property, but for now we're doing an above ground pool, but we're going to make it look like it's an in-ground pool, which is why we dug everything so deep. So just to kind of get you guys caught up, Abel is cutting some lumber behind me. First things first is we dug this pad down to where the pool is going to sit about 7.5 to 8 inches below the wall that is behind me. Reason being is we're going to put a deck that is flush with the wall up there. I don't know where I'm pointing because the screen on the GoPro is really small, but a deck that is flush with the wall up there is going to come out and is going to be just right over the edge of the pool. If our math is correct, we're gonna find out. Now, obviously we have this ledge of dirt behind us that we don't want to cave in. I don't really think it's gonna, because the dirt out here is very hard and very solid, but just to make sure that it doesn't, we are just doing a little 2x12 pseudo retaining wall. Anytime I see a homeowner do this, like, I kind of make fun of them, and then here I am doing it, and I don't really make fun of them. Just not the greatest for actually retaining. My thing is to like not let the dirt just start to slowly crumble over the years and push up against the pool. It doesn't need to look pretty, the deck's gonna cover it. So that's why I'm just using all the scrap 2x12s that I have around the property. While Abel and Chaba are getting the little wall put in, I'm gonna take the Coyote. We're gonna throw the forks on and let's bring the pool over, well, the box over. I hope everything's in there again. I haven't even checked. If we get to this point and we're waiting on another box that we don't know about, that's gonna suck. I wanna get this freaking pool up today. I was hoping to have it yesterday. That didn't happen. So today's the day. We're putting this freaking pool up. The one thing I wish these tractors had was the hydraulic quick disconnects or quick connects that the skid steers have. That'd be a game changer. Not having to get out to change attachments. I will say though, the camera system is nice for allowing you to see that attachment plate. And hopefully you guys can see this. And then we double tap there. There is the front attachment plate, which makes it really nice and easy to line up into the forks that we're going to be grabbing right now. There we go. We have gotten the forks. These locked back down. Now that we have the forks on, we're going to go grab the pool out of the back of the Diamond Sea dump trailer. Again, I had to put it in there because the donkeys love anything cardboard, and they would have destroyed the box and most likely destroyed anything that's in it, or at least scatter all the stuff around the yard. That's their favorite thing to do. And you can see on my camera system there, we can see the fork tips perfectly. They're painted orange. But at the height of the trailer, you can actually see them without looking at the camera. Come on in, don't hit the doors of the trailer. We got us a 500-pound box of pool. All right, let's crack this open. There we go. Don't worry guys, it says easy setup of 90 minutes. I'm sure. Now obviously I can't stand this up and open it from the top. Let's see, does this one say? I'm just gonna tear the box. Hopefully everything's right and we don't have to return anything. I mean, the box is already pretty freaking torn as is, but we're coming in from the top. gonna need that for the setup, really. We got us a cover. We got us the ground tarp. Ooh, looks like carbon fiber. And then I believe the big old liner is there on the bottom. Now I used to love putting Legos and stuff together as a kid. More so like I would build the set once and then like I would just free base it, you know, with the Legos once I had built the set once, but I hate building little things like this nowadays. I mean, there's 8,000 pieces that go to this thing. The instructions wise, it's fairly simple. There's only 3 or 4 pages of actual like what you're doing to put it together because it's a repetitive process. You put the mat down, you put the liner down, and then you have, you know, 24 legs you got to put on. I've got this little bee that is just like following me around. Papa, jeez, smacked the bee. He's gonna be pissed. Paparano's on his way here, so I'm gonna wait till he gets here so we can drag out the mat and the liner and all that. It's just much easier with 2 people. I don't want to take Abel and Chapa off of doing that wall because they're doing a great job and really rocking that out. Almost finished. It's looking good, looking good. They just got a last little bit to go there. Now, I wish that we had read the instructions prior to putting sand down, but it specifically says don't put it on sand. I mean, it kind of says don't put it on dirt either, but it is what it is. Now I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna compact the sand. That way it's a harder base, and I think the reason you don't want it on like super soft sand, because to me it made sense for your feet, right? Super soft sand's gonna feel good when you're walking on it. But when you were putting the pool liner in and the pool is starting to fill up with water, you kind of have to kick all the wrinkles out of it. And I imagine if you have really soft sand underneath and you start kicking, you're like moving piles of sand underneath the pool liner, just making it worse. So we'll use the plate compactor. Pad is all compacted. Now Paparano's going around the edges and just giving us like 2 foot of level past where the pool is gonna go. I think the feet stick out a foot past, maybe somewhere around there. And again, we're gonna have to dig down for them to sit on the 2x12 pressure treated pads that we're gonna cut. Unless you're putting this pool on concrete, which I would love to do if concrete was not so expensive. There's another bug. You need pads to kind of disperse the weight. So yesterday I cut some 2x12s, I gotta cut some more, but I got pressure treated 2x12 right there that the feet are gonna sit on, but you have to dig those down because the pool is going to be sitting on this elevation right here. Well, if we put a 2x12 right here, it's gonna be up 1.5 inches higher than where the pool is. So we're gonna have to dig down 1.5 inches and set the pads to where they flush out with our sand, which is gonna be a little bit difficult because you have to first put a tarp down on top of the sand, which means we're either gonna be folding the tarp back, maybe we're cutting the tar, I don't know how we're gonna do it, but kind of a little funky of a system. Here's our super sweet tarp. It's a lot lighter weight than it originally looked when I first saw it in the box. Not much to it here. There you go, you can kind of see, it's like sandbag material. I bet if we pulled that one right there, this thing would just come apart. While we wait for Paparano to just grade out that little perimeter section, I'm bringing the dumpster over so we have a nice easy way to throw away all the trash that we're generating right now, as well as like the scraps of the plants and stuff that are lying around. Having something with forks has been a freaking game changer out at the ranch. I love it. And obviously a tractor this size. Now we know a Hyundai's about its limit, but it can carry a pretty full dumpster. A lot of you guys don't know, but Chava is a truck / car collector. He's got more trucks than I own. Got a little belt squeal going on. We'll see if he likes the mini truck. Abel also has a lot of trucks. There's another one of Abel's trucks. You guys saw Abel's OBS the other day. You guys really liked that. Here's a, I don't know what gen, F-150 that is. Never been my favorite, those trucks right there. But I know a lot of people like them, especially in the Lightning configuration. ¿Te gusta este troque, papi?
Sí.
¿Está bueno? ¿Por te care?
Sí.
Abel just jumped in the Mini X for a second, and he always changes his pattern over. So there's, what is it, deer pattern and cat pattern? I don't know, I forget what the exact terms are, but there's A and B. And that basically changes your joysticks to do completely different things. So Abel does it, let's see, what is he on? He is on A. So A is right there, that is standard. I learned on B, and I just jumped in right now, and Abel had swapped it over, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I mean, I could probably learn it. Jeez, this thing felt like riding a bike for the first time and like falling off with my training wheels once he switched the controls over. And I believe these were like common with John Deere backhoes, all had this like A option. I don't know, whatever I am, I'm B. I don't know, for whatever reason, we still offer both. Maybe at some point we should shift just to B. We'll let the A generation die off. And everybody that uses A is probably gonna get really upset about that comment. But I feel like B just makes more sense. Leave it to Chava to start gnawing on this stuff. ¿Es azúcar? Okay.
Pruébalo.
No, es para tú. No, no quiero. ¿Es bueno?
No,
Es puro de agua, ¿verdad?
agua nomás. Pero cuando ponle en el fuego,
Ajá.
este ya está como cocido.
¿Oh, sí?
Y cuando está cocido ya más bueno.
Chava's crazy, y'all.
Lo tienen en el swap meat.
Ajá.
Chiquito, $1.
¿Oh, sí?
Sí.
Mucho dinero aquí.
Mm.
So Chava's been actually out here before. He's found like dead rabbits on the road. Like on his way in roadkill, tosses them in the bed of his truck, and he'll leave them out here all day in the bed of his truck in 100-degree weather, and then go home and cook it, and somehow still alive. That guy's got an iron stomach. Okay guys, here goes nothing. We've got part 1 of 700. There we go, official first step. Well, we got the liner down and it's about the best we can position it right now. I believe once we get the legs and everything on, we can kind of adjust it if we really need to. It's just kind of hard because the liner's so big because the sides are laying down right now that they're a little bit bigger than our pad. I'd rather not get them all mixed up in the sand. We're now opening the boxes that have all of the legs as well as the top rail in it. And there's a lot of freaking pieces here. Those go on the bottom of the legs and attached to those. I'm telling you guys, I hate erector setting stuff together these days. Those, I believe, those snap in after. We get these in, they line up with the holes there. I think we just assemble these and we slide them down the liner. Oh.
A, B, 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 C. Then it goes D, E, E, F, A, B, all B's.
Yeah, they just flip flop. So of course the GoPro just keeps shutting off sporadically, randomly, because it's hot and they suck and the firmware sucks and the software sucks. We're gonna go A.
Well, we crammed this one through first last time.
Yeah, but this is gonna be,
Well,
yep, you're right, yep, A goes to the end. Let's put some baby powder on there, let's just make it easier to go through. We're not touching them as much.
Ooh, fuck, we're hitting that shit. All those women got that shit in that.
Yep, no, this is the non-cancer causing one.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know. So to get these to slide through easier, it says in the directions, use baby powder because the inside of the liner is a little bit tacky and it was a battle to push 30-something feet of this through earlier. Let's see if we go easier now.
See, and now we gotta watch that, because that could be.
Yeah, we've been keeping an eye on it.
Okay, on B.
B, Chava.
All the rest of those are B.
Ooh, that's hot.
Yeah, get someone with gloves. When they start the gloves, you guys better grab your gloves. I don't want the powder in the pool.
It'll be all right.
No, that's why I don't want to do by the glue.
Papi, ponle poquito este. We'll see how this 90-minute assembly goes. So far, we're quite a ways into that already. The baby powder is definitely making this one a lot easier though. We were like trying to mush the other side through. Oof, this liner is hot. Can't even stand on the backside of it. Whatever the heck they make this stuff out of, it's pretty impressive that it does not melt. Just getting cooked like this. We are all getting the crap burned out of us. Cuidado, huevos, caliente. Adentro. Sí. Yup, go.
Whoa.
Push.
What's it saying that we do?
C. Now you need a C.
Ready?
Let's see, for the sides we need a, we're gonna start with a F, E, E, D. We'll feed it from this way. F needs to be on that corner.
And we pick them up and put the corners, right?
Yep. F, E, E, D. So F first.
So F, E, E, D.
Yep.
So F, a D, and 2 E's.
That is correct.
What were the 2?
F, E, E, D. Or me and Abel inside and we'll hold the corners up.
Yeah, we're gonna pop
All right.
it first.
Listo, Abel. We're gonna start with an F, E, E, D. Now este es caliente también, ¿eh? The azul. Oh, sí, the gris is más. This one's gonna be.
Hey, puppy. This will straighten it up as we crown it. Just start right there. Hold, yeah, get that tight.
Keep going.
Puppy, puppy, put your hand under. Don't squeeze it.
Okay, go. A little bit more.
It's all the way, man.
I'm pretty close to flush right there. Now we're gonna put our corner pieces on. It's kind of a funky shape until this thing is up in the air. Oh. Hold on. Pull it back to you. There you go. All right, go. I'm pretty close right there. It says leave it flat on the ground. Well, here, you're gonna need to slide one of those pieces on. Let's just.
Not yet.
Yeah, hell yeah. You put it on before you get in there.
Let's see.
Slide onto pole. Then you bring the leg over. And then we click in the top. And then we click in the bottom. Well, every time I try for time lapse, the camera says, nah. I need to get a little umbrella for the camera. So we're just going around putting all the legs on first. Then we're gonna try to stand it up in place and hopefully it works out. You're supposed to leave like 6 feet of room all the way around so you can lay these legs flat. Obviously we don't have that being that we're butting up against a hillside, but I think we can manage. Stand it up. Go towards you more. Go towards you more. Lay it down. One leg at a time.
Puppy, go down there by Abel.
Luckily we've got a bunch of guys here because you gotta hold some pretty big panels up in place. And then once this is all together, we're gonna have to shift it away from the hillside there. I think it's gonna be easier to shift once it's all together because then we actually know the dimensions of it. Right now we've shifted it a couple of times, but by the time you put them up and the legs have to kind of sprawl out, it changes what you thought, like distance-wise, that you needed it to be. I will say the 16 by 32 is it's looking pretty big. That's a pretty good sized pool. Obviously it looks a little bigger right now because this side's lying down, but I'm glad we decided to go 1632 instead of going the 22 by 12 or 24 by 12, whatever it ended up being. This 16-foot depth right here is pretty nice. And the pool's pretty deep. I believe the water line is at like 42 inches, 46 inches. Arriba, papi, con este. Ahí está.
Pero cuando si yo vengo con mi chica, echar esta agua de aquí
¿De qué?
para estrenar este.
¿Lo quieren?
Sí,
¿Con tu chica?
sí,
¿Cuántos?
nomás una.
Una.
Sí.
He's changed. He used to have like 20 women at one time. He's lying. Chow's lying. They must watch the videos. You don't want them to know about each other. I don't know what 90 minutes we're at, but we're definitely, we're in one set of 90 minutes. This thing is a pain in the butt trying to hold these sides up while putting these legs on. There's 4 of us here, and 2 more people would be like great right now to help hold this up. Paul Verano's putting that bottom leg on. We're trying to keep these walls from wanting to collapse in on each other. The corner pieces don't really lock in. It's kind of weird. I wonder if they're just meant to move around and kind of find their spot, but they don't stay in place until, I'm assuming, this whole thing is up. All right, let's see.
Ain't that easier.
Let's see. That part ain't hard at all. Yeah, you gonna fight it.
You're right. I admit. Okay, guys, you hear that? I hope the camera's hot.
Oh, camera's rolling. Okay, camera saw your way didn't work.
Let's see.
Okay, we've managed to get that side to kind of stay up. We're over here working on this side now. We've got Paparano's down below there, hooking up the bottom. The sides are supposed to lean in until you fill it with water. Then obviously the outward pressure of the water pushes it out. We still have to, once we get all the legs on, adjust this thing, because I know we're too far towards the hillside. I really hope we can actually move this once they're all assembled. This is gonna suck. We're definitely not pulling it back apart. I'll tie it to the damn tractor and drag it. Now, I was watching on some videos where people kind of made these into built-in pools, and everybody's like, oh, well, what happens when the liner goes out? And the guys that actually built them into built-in pools, like, oh, it's pretty easy. You just kind of cave the sides in from the inside and you can put a new liner in. After doing this with all the room in the world around it, nah, if the liner goes, the pool's getting torn out. We ain't trying to reassemble this dang thing from inside with walls all the way around it. That would be a nightmare. Now that all the legs are on and that battle is somewhat over. Oh, geez, oh, we're losing people. We measured off the wall. We are 11 foot here, 10 foot 6 there. So the pool needs to kind of shift about 6 inches at this angle. It's a heavy son of a gun to move, and you have to kind of shift all the legs. And we're also kind of guessing where these sides are going to be once they kind of straighten up. The corners don't lock in, they free float. So there's no real definition of, like, you see how it just dropped in right there? Like, there's no definition of what exactly it's gonna be. So we're kind of guessing 11 foot. Now we're kind of playing with figuring out how to make this thing look right by eye. Wall isn't perfectly straight, but I've paralleled off of it, which means the distance from the wall to that corner of the pool is the same as the distance from the wall there. The reason I did that is when I go to put my deck in, if these are parallel with each other, you have just straight cuts, and you're not playing this game of like that corner of the pool being at an angle and then the deck boards don't really line up right. But the house is at a weird angle, whereas the wall, let's just say, is this way. To the wall, the house is kind of this way. So if you're looking outside the house, you're kind of looking at the pool, and the pool almost looks a little bit out of whack. So we're kind of trying to split the difference here to see what's gonna look best. I mean, I think by the time the deck is around the pool, it'll look pretty good. Then you're gonna see that everything looks out of level because, again, the wall is higher over here. It's lower over here, so it looks like the pool is coming out of the ground over there, going into the ground over there. All kinds of funkiness with this dang house, but we're gonna make it work the best we can. Obviously, we gotta put the pool level. We ain't changing the wall. That's why this is my temporary pool setup until we build the luxurious setup, whatever that is, or whenever that is, or if that ever even happens. Okay, well, we definitely did not set the 90-minute assembly mark. I don't know why manufacturers don't like actually list it on the box. Like, hey, if you got 3 or 4 guys, it's gonna take you about 3 hours to put it together. I feel like we'd all appreciate a little more like legitimacy there. Next thing we got to do, and the guys already took off for the day, so we're kind of pretty much going to stop here for the day, but you can see we're putting the 2x12s underneath the legs, but they need to be level. So we're cutting out a little piece of the tarp, digging down 1.5 inches, that way the pads sit level so that these legs can sit on it and they're not raised up and doing anything kind of funky. So tomorrow we will jump back on, and then once all those are done, start putting some freaking water in this thing. We got roasted out here today. I think it's currently 98 degrees. It's a little bit warm, but I'm gonna mow the grass and kind of just finish out my day doing a little bit of yard work, and we'll jump back on in the morning.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.